everyone, welcome back to the Independent Thinking online children's book festival. It's the first time we've done something like this, and I'm loving it. I get the chance to speak, interview, meet with, read the books of so many wonderful authors, and they've all got so many interesting things to say in their terms of their books for children, books about children, books for parents, books for teachers, books for families. There's always something going on. There's always some message about supporting children, helping children be better, helping parents be better, making the world a better place. And this book is no exception. Time to Play, Marc's first visit by Marcia Rowe and Kalita Wood, and I'm joined by them both. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for being part of it. Just tell us a little bit about yourselves, what you do, what your background is, how you came to be writing such a bright and colourful little book.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be here. We're so excited. We have to sit on our hands as well to contain the excitement. So thank you for putting it together. By trade, I'm a counsellor and psychotherapist. So I do that with children, young people and families. So we first started Facet Therapy, which is a separate business to Kidstime2play. I wanted to work with a number of children and young people initially, looking at therapeutic play, and then stepped it up a little bit more by offering work in the community and in schools and with families. So I then thought, why not start with the little people? When they just start walking and they're developing their language, and I needed a play therapist, a play practitioner, to help me on board. And Kalita, who I've known for a while, she said she would love to volunteer and be part of this program. So I'm really grateful that she's still with me as a co-author now, which we'll share with you guys a little bit more.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Ian. So I became a play practitioner, but before I get started about Time to Play and how I became a play practitioner, I would just like to say that my background is business. I'm a HR professional. A lot of the work that I do is for adults, children, and young people. I'm also I run a children's education program through a company called Feed Me Good. How I became a practitioner, obviously, was through Marcia. I have a son myself, 2 sons now, but at that time I had a 4-year-old, and it was perfect for him to be involved in a class like Time to Play, because at that age, it's very much about learning boundaries, learning how to play nicely, the do's and the don'ts, learning some really vital values about being kind and sharing. And he also had to share his mum as part of the class, because I was a parent in the class, but I was also the teacher. So sharing mummy amongst other parents. And what I loved about the class is that it was a parent and child class. So the parents also got involved in the activities. So it would be a parent and child activity, or be the child on their own doing the activity, but the parents supporting them. Well done, brilliant, you can do it, and vice versa. Let's swap the roles. Let mummy or daddy have a turn now, and you clap for your mum and you give your parents encouragement. And it was really nice. And we found that, not a lot of parents played with their children at home, and they said, wow, coming to the class really opened our eyes, and we can do a lot more at home. So it brought on a lot of discussion, but also a brilliant opportunity to showcase life skills and life values, which is what we do. So as things progressed with the class, wonderful class, it was an 8-week program. Every week there was a different theme, and the games and activities were based around the theme of the week. So we had colours, music, numbers. It was great fun. 1 hour of full play. As things progressed and the program came to an end, I also became a business manager for Facet Therapy for Marcia. And it was at the beginning of the global pandemic. And I felt that every successful business, for example, Virgin, which is one of the companies that I've worked for previously, they have products and services. So I felt that, Facet Therapy, what could we need a bit more. We've got a wonderful service here, which is our Time to Play class. It's doing really well in communities. Parents are loving it, children are loving it. Why don't we put it in an exciting book. And how perfect timing. It was a global pandemic. So we got told, oh, sorry, you can't run your Time to Play class anymore. Yeah. So it was through the global pandemic, the whole of 2020, pretty much up to September, we were writing. First time writers as well. So we're really proud
newbies.
of this. We're newbies. We are newbies. So we're really grateful to be part of this platform because we've never done this before.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it was newbies and we launched the book in September. So we'll tell you all about the book. I think Marcia's going to read a snippet of the book first.
I want to ask you something before we do. And also, Barry, I think I forgot to mention at the beginning, this is all part of the Sue Atkins Book Club, which brings together new authors, authors that maybe don't get the sort of the coverage that some of the big names do, but with something really important to say. I want to come back just before we go into your book about play.
Sure.
But I want to start with therapeutic play, which is a phrase Marcia mentioned earlier. Can you just tell me, define therapeutic play for me? What it looks like?
How did I know you'd ask me that?
Handle that for me. I'm going for it.
So, like, play is children's language. That's their first language, you know, with the bonding and, you know, when a baby is born, you know, you get the parent looking at the child. So you've got the gooing and the wooing and the making sounds and they're bouncing off each other. So as the child develops, there is the normal play that children do, but they're telling a story. They are recreating the world around them into bite-sized pieces so that us adults can understand what's going on in their life. So with me as a therapist, when children are not okay, and some children are not okay, and they need a bit of support, either with the support of the parent or just myself working with that child, I'll be looking at a little bit more into what they are telling me through what they're doing. So the play is, it could be about drawing a picture. So for example, I'll give you an example. I work with a 5-year-old and the 5-year-old is drawing a picture of a lion and there's green grass, but the 5-year-old now colors the lion in green. Now a parent might say, oh, but lions are not green, they're kind of yellow or brown. And, you know, we've got an idealistic view about what the lion looks like. But this child will color the lion in green. So my interpretation, or well, before the interpretation, I'll be asking the child, why is the lion in green? You know, the child will say, it's camouflaged. The line is camouflage. I mean, their little minds are so creative, but I'm thinking as a therapist, what's going on? Why does the lion need to hide? And sometimes that lion is a figment from that little person. You know, they're not saying, I am this and I am that, you know, because they haven't got that intellectual ability as yet. But for me, I can then have a conversation with that 5-year-old about the lion is green and it's hiding in the grass. So the journey will continue through play, which makes it therapeutic. So yes, there is interpretation, but also from a person-centered point of view, person-centered or theorists wouldn't actually interpret. They would actually just go along with the journey. But with myself, trained humanistically using CBT and transactional analysis, I'm, you know, taking all these methods into the room. Yeah. You know, so I can be fully functional with that little person and just look out for these little points that they're telling me in a roundabout way. So, yeah.
That's lovely, because there seems to be a battle going on at the moment, in my understanding, and speaking to early years practitioners, between them knowing that observation, and my daughter teaches in a nursery as well, and she's aware of this, that observation, how much the child is telling you through their actions, through the colouring the lion green, through
absolutely,
and then messages coming from Ofsted, from the government in England at least, about that it's about getting children school ready, it's about direct instruction, about teaching them how to hold a pen, and
yes,
there's a sense that we have to fight for the ability for children to play, not because it's just play that are wasting their time, but because of so much information that it conveys to
Absolutely.
to practitioners. And I can see that sort of taps in with that. Are you picking up that sort of conflict going on?
I have a lot of, I mean, I've done a lot of work with children and young people. I've worked in schools for over 11 years. And I found it really difficult because you've got the school ethos on one hand, and you've got the things going on for children and young people. So when a child goes into school, they have, well, as we know, as teachers and adults, we want them to do well. But if they've got things going on for them, they've got troubles outside on the street, or they've got things going on at home, or just worries within themselves as they're aging, it's really, really hard for them to focus. How do they express themselves if the teacher is there to teach? They're not a therapist. And I see a lot of children and young people coming to me and saying, you know, well, I'm not okay. So I ask them, well, what is not okay? So I do a scaling between 0 and 10. So if you're on that line, where would you be? And if I know it's below 5, then there's something going on. So for young people, we have to find a language that fits with them as well. So not just saying, well, what's not okay, and the parent not understanding that, or they're battling with the young person to understand, or they're so rude and they're not listening to me and they're slamming doors, and I'm like, well, who's slamming whose door? You know, you know, maybe parents need a timeout as well, right? To have some thinking time. So it's really important to understand what are children and young people telling us. There's not a lot of support. I don't want to go too much into what the government's done and what they, you know, what they're trying to do. I've got so much to say about that, but we can only do so much. And which is why Kalita and I, we really want to support parents in helping children find a language, you know, understand what are the life lessons that a child needs to learn and understand, right? Having respect at home. It goes both ways. It's not just one way. I'm the parent and you've got to listen to what I'm saying, right? I know that goes on in some households, but it's a two-way thing. Let's understand children a little bit more so that we can, you know, sit with them on the floor and have a conversation, sit with them on the stairs and say, you know, I see you're not all right today. What's going on? You know, so that they can feel supported in what's going on.
I think that's really what you touched on there, the communication and the listening, and also sitting down on the floor with the child is something that I was very passionate about doing in the class. So it's not me standing up and over you as an adult giving you an instruction. I'm sitting down with you and I'm explaining what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we're doing it and what things I'd like them to learn. And at the end of the session, then saying, remember I said at the beginning, we said we would learn about oral communication, and you spoke with your peers today, and what did you speak about? That was brilliant. So giving them, teaching them at the same time, so we're playing together, but we're also I'm also teaching you a skill. As I said, you know, my background is HR. I work with a lot of adults in a working capacity, and you'll be surprised how many adults don't have the basic employability skills that they need to fulfill their job role. And it just makes me very passionate about teaching kids from a very young age. My youngest son is 3. We're both parents, by the way. And Marc, which is the star of the book, this one here is her son. But we'll speak about that in a little while. I have 2 sons. The youngest one's 3, oldest one, both of our sons are 8. But it's about having those early conversations, and early intervention is really, really important, and communicating with them.
In the book, in this sort of the exercises at the back, there's a whole section about let's talk, this idea of just talking and being open and communicating and talking about your feelings and talking about your thoughts and reflecting. And
absolutely, yes.
Exactly.
There's another conversation, another C word you mentioned, Kalita, is community, so working in the community, and that comes through in the book as well, that there's a gathering of people coming together for an event. So if you just well, it starts with a very impatient Marc. I mean, he would but he's very excited. So whichever bit of the book you'd like to read, just sort of lead us in with that. That would be great, please.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll read the back of the book quickly so you know what the book's about, and then Marcia can read a few pages out of the book. Okay, so meet Marc, an excited and adventurous little boy who loves trying new things. Today, Marc wants to go to a time to play class and have a great time, but he must learn some important lessons along the way. This exciting story is followed by some fun and engaging exercises where your children will learn social values and life skills. Marcia.
Thank you.
That's the setup. That's the business setup. Okay, and now for the
yeah, that's the business setup.
Now here's the play. Okay, so as you can see, can you see that?
Yeah, just a little bit higher. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant,
Okay.
lovely. Okay, so after Marc gets up and he wants to do something, people got to buy the book to see the whole journey of the beginning. So he gets to the time to play class and he's with his friends. So now this is the play practitioner. I don't know if you all can see that. That's the play practitioner. And it's joint play with the parents and the children. Okay, so where we're up to in the story, the parents were happy and the children were happy. Marc was very, very happy. He was having lots of fun. The teacher said, we're going to play a game called popcorn. I'd like you all to hold the side of the parachute. Let's shake it and see how many balls stay on. She threw the balls onto the parachute. Marc was excited. He was jumping up and down. As he did, guess what? The balls were falling off. Marc's mum and some of the children quickly picked them up and threw them on again. It was hard work. So let's see what happens to Marc's mum.
And this is a typical game that we play in our class.
Yeah. And I do get very tired.
Yeah, wobbly legs.
Wobbly legs. Marc's mum felt very tired. She said, phew, I need to sit down. My legs are wobbly. And Marc laughed. Mum went to sit down with wobbly legs. Wobble, wobble, wobble. So thank you so much. That's brilliant.
No, thank you. That's so you can. I mean, you're describing the time to play, the events that you sort of hold as well in the community. But it's a book that stands alone, just as an interesting story. It's nicely multicultural. It's about community. It's about activity, and then the exercises at the back. You know, the let's talk, the creativity, the memory skills as well. What happened next? Absolutely. There's a lot to unpick in a book like that. Wow, that time went quickly.
Wow, we enjoyed that.
Wow, that was super duper quick. I had so much more to say.
We'll do it again. So where can people? I know we've done a deal for this book festival with the Roving Bookshop, and people can get your book by there and maybe get it signed as well. But so how else can people get hold of you? Get hold of Time to Play?
On our website, which I believe is in the chat.
Yeah.
I think somebody posted it in the chat. So www.kidstime2play.co.uk. We're also on Amazon and we've got an ebook on Kindle. We're also on Waterstones.
Waterstones as well.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And are you social media? Are you active on Twitter?
Oh, we're everywhere. Goodness me.
Yes.
So, it's really hard to keep up with everything, but we're at Kids Time to Play on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We're on Twitter. The Twitter is called Kidst2p.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is slightly different. Yeah. So yeah. And now we're on YouTube.
We'll put all those little links in the as a little caption here on the video when you put that out there. And that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I also like the way you've colour coordinated your shirts, the ribbon, the little teddy bear. You've clearly thought this. You've clearly thought about it.
And they're also in the book, so you know it's really important that they play their part too.
Everyone's pulling their weight. Fantastic to speak to you. I'm glad play is it's such an important part, and the fact that it's being challenged in the way that it is at the moment. if you can't play as a child, when can you play? So thank you for
Yes.
flying the play flag.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much for inviting us, you and Sue.
And we'll reconvene this conversation when we've got more time. That'll be great.
That'd be
Definitely.
brilliant.
Thank you for having
Brilliant.
us. Take care,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.